over 30 years in Columbus, Georgia, Young Life leaders have been showing up in the lives of teenagers. You will find them hanging out at football games, school lunchrooms, basketball games, and local restaurants to win the friendship of lost kids. As long as teenagers mill around at football games looking for love in all the wrong places, as long as they desperately seek an identity based on the opinion of friends, as long as they limp through the halls of school, broken by family strife, seeking healing in forms that will only cause more pain, Young Life and Wildlife leaders will continue to show up. We want to be right where God has positioned us in the lives of kids to shine forth His grace, His love, and His truth. As long as there is an enemy who can convince his victims that tomorrow does not matter and harm will not find them, we will continue to show up in the lives of teenagers to bring light into darkness.
Young Life is about relationships, and as Jim Rayburn said, you've got to earn the right with the kids in order to share the gospel with them. And so I think I learned from that point forward that a lot about relational ministry, that ministry really is about getting to know and love kids and be a part of their lives, and to go to where the kids are, into their world. And I think that's a very Christ-like thing, and Jim Rayburn's philosophy was spot on. You've got to jump into their world.
The first time I remember meeting my Young Life leader, I was a sophomore in high school at Columbus High School. And the lunch table of guys I sat with was all my group of buddies. And I remember seeing my Young Life leader walk through the cafeteria. And he was greeting folks that he knew. He'd stop and talk to tables, people that he knew. But I remember just thinking how bizarre it was that this college-aged guy was hanging out in a high school cafeteria and sort of wondering if he had friends his own age, why he needed to come hang out with all these high school kids. My group of friends and I all kind of thought it was, you know, that we didn't really give him the time of day, that it was a little strange that he was there.
The first time I met Greg Alexander was last year, my junior year in high school. It was one of the first Young Life clubs that year. I missed out on the first one, I think, because sports. But I went in, just saw Greg high-fiving people and booty bumping people, and just thought he was an awesome guy. I just wanted to go meet him. And then one of my friends who went to Crooked Creek with him introduced me to him, and ever since we've been hanging out.
The first time I met Miss Erica Rivers was at Carver. Well, it was in my neighborhood. She was coming to talk to a friend of mine, Josie, about Young Life meetings. And Josie and Miss Erica invited me to come to a meeting, and I did. And I've just been involved ever since. It's like a family relationship because I can tell her anything and she tells me anything. So it's real open. Like, I don't feel I have to hide anything from her.
I think being close to Kate and Kathy too, but being able to call Kate and say, hey, can you meet me such and such right now? And she'll sit there and she'll meet me right then and there. And if it's something that I'm so upset about and I can tell her anything and I know that she won't tell anyone, and she'll just sit there and give me advice because she has way more personal experience than I do, and she could sit there and tell me about what it was like when she dealt with those problems in high school. So hearing those from her helps me handle the situations that I think are awful better.
Makes me feel like somebody actually cares. Like I kind of knew he cared from the get-go, but like, and you get sometimes like you get that feeling like no one really cares for you. Like, if somebody do something like that, just go out of their free will and just check up on you every once in a while, it makes you feel kind of good.
I love that Young Life Club is for everybody. I don't think kids know it until they show up, unfortunately. But I think When a kid comes to Young Life Club the first time, they realize, I totally feel included.
The cabin times during Young Life camps were quite special. In fact, one year, 1987, at Frontier Ranch, we had a cabin, we had Black Elk 7, that was the name of our cabin. 12 kids and 2 leaders, Mitch Watkins and I were in there, and we saw the Spirit of God move through that cabin in a way that I don't think I've ever seen Him move, where kids were just opening up and wanting to be, wanting to receive Christ and wanting to pray and wanting to confess their sins. It was just an amazing time. And out of that cabin, I think about 10 of them went on to be Young Life leaders later on. It was an amazing experience, something I'll never forget, and was really the greatest week of my life prior to my getting married.
It's where I, for the first time, met Jesus Christ, and where I realized that He was more than a God up on a throne or just a God of the universe. But I sat on a mountaintop one of those last nights and gave my life to Christ and realized that He was wanting to have a friendship with me because He loved me deeply.
I just remember going there and seeing the mountains, hearing about God, at the same time mountain biking with friends, going on the ropes course, going on the rope swing, playing Frisbee all day, and having club there twice a day, and just being so relaxed for that entire week that we were there. It was the best week of my life.
Time after time again, kids refer to their Young Life camping experience as the best week of their lives. At Young Life camps, kids have the opportunity to rappel, ride horses, speed down water slides, tackle treetop ropes courses, soar off blobs, and come face to face with the one who created them. Add this high adventure to spectacular scenery, lots of laughs, gourmet food, genuine care, and unconditional love, and you have the perfect equation for kids to hear and experience Christ in real and personal ways. Kids call it the best week of their lives. We simply call it going to camp.
I decided to be a wildlife leader because going to club has been so fun for me, and also doing work crew this past summer, I kind of learned the working part of it. So I think the next step is being a leader for the younger kids, and it's just being able to have my experience, their experience.
I recently decided to be a wildlife leader because I saw the impact that these Young Life leaders, who were not too much older than us Young Lifers, how big of an impact they had on our lives. And I decided that I should be a wildlife leader, just because how much they talk about how much they love to be a Young Life leader. I wanted to be a wildlife leader to have an impact on these upcoming high schoolers. They're middle schoolers now. I wanted to impact their lives, help them solve some of the problems that I started with high school, help them how to make strong standpoints with Christ now instead of later. And I just want to help these middle schoolers become better Christians, and I think I can through personal experience and what I've learned through others.
When I look back at Young Life and the beginning of my walk with Christ, to why I do Young Life now would be Ephesians 3, when it talks about just to grasp how long and wide and deep and high the love of Christ is. And I would have to say that I got a taste of that when I was a high schooler. because people were loving on me, like Libby Key and Robin Diamond and Dean Crow and Gene and Lev Norman, and the list goes on. So being loved on like that and experiencing the love of Christ to now just wanting to extend it to others, it's huge.
So when I started coming to Young Life, it was like, this is what I'm not so much as supposed to be doing, but what I'm more recommended to do. So I just started like reading my Bible. I didn't read it a lot, but a little bit day by day or so. And just, now I go to church with Miss Erica Rivers, so I go to church now.
It just made me look at things different, like, well, I don't know how to reword it, but it's like, as I said, when I have a problem or something, when I was like, in the past, I used to deal with all my problems on my own. Like, if I had something, like, I wouldn't like really tell nobody else about it. I just try to keep it to myself. And like, if I can deal with it on my own, I'll do it. But after like I started doing Young Life and all that, like, as I said, like, really, I don't really have to deal with the problems by myself. Like, if I don't know anybody else who will be there to help me with the problem, Jesus is there, but Jesus is gonna be there for me.
Having my Young Life leaders be with me every step of the way, they've encouraged me to read the Bible more, and meeting with me for Bible studies, just one-on-one, has definitely made me learn a lot more. And especially going to Crooked Creek, that was a huge impact on my relationship.
Well, one of the great joys I had as a newly married guy was being able to do Young Life with my wife. Libby got involved in Young Life, and so we had that shared experience, which was tremendous, particularly early in our marriage, to be able to not just worship together and study together, but to actually get out there and minister together and minister to kids. I think it helped us as parents, you know, to be prepared for things that came down the road with kids as they're growing up, and to learn to be patient and loving and as best we can show unconditional love. Young Life was a big part of that. My son, primarily, he was at Young Life in Brookstone and was a wildlife leader with Scott and with Aubrey and some of the others there, and it had such a strong influence on him. He's a Young Life leader in Auburn today. And I went to the Young Life banquet over there Thursday night this past week, and I watched my son in action.
You know, the nights that my kids go hang out with Alan Crawford, and the nights that Greg does the campaigners for Columbus High, the nights that they come over to our house and hang out. I mean, I just look at what Young Life does for kids, and as a kid, I don't know that I was as grateful. I knew that there were people that wanted to spend time with me and hang out with me and love on me, regardless of my ridiculous self. But then watching it from a parent standpoint and watching these guys just pour out their lives for the sake of Jesus and loving on kids is awesome.
Over 30 years of Young Life here in Columbus, Georgia, and having grown up here myself, you just see this really broad scope of impact that's been had in this community. Particularly now that I'm coming back for the last 3 years being on staff here, and just seeing how many people, as I meet kids, finding out that their parents were involved in Young Life in some way, or even grandparents that are involved because of multi-generations of their family that have been impacted by Young Life in some way. There's an unbelievable legacy of ministry, of the gospel being proclaimed that began here in Columbus, and a number of different full-time Young Life staff people that have come out of here. Scores of folks that left here from high school and went off to various colleges and became volunteer leaders. Really the impact that's been had because Don McKelvey came here and helped start Young Life 30 years ago is almost immeasurable. It'd be almost impossible to quantify the number of people that have been impacted by this ministry because of the decision for Young Life to begin here 30 years ago.
My name is Natalie Morris. I'm a senior at Brookstone, and I've been involved with Young Life for 3 years.
My name is Jack Key. I was a Young Life leader at Brookstone from 1983 through 1989.
I'm Bryce Bishop. I'm a senior at Columbus High School, and I've been involved in Young Life for the past 3 years.
My name is Siobhan Hightower. I'm a senior at Carver High School, and I've been involved with Young Life for 3 years.
I'm Barbara Cummings. I was a Young Life kid at Hardaway High School from 1989 to 1992, and I'm now a wildlife leader at Richards Middle School.
My name is Roland Johnson. I go to Spencer High School. I'm in the 12th grade, and I've been involved in Young Life for 3 years.
My name is Jeff Jones. I was involved with Young Life at Columbus High School from 1992 to 1994. I'm currently the area director of Young Life in Columbus, Georgia, and a leader at Brookstone School.